Here's a stat that I could not believe when I heard it. Right now, 80% of sellers expect to get their asking price or more when they sell their home. 80%. Now I get it, because for a few years there, that's exactly what was happening. But the market has shifted and the data tells us a very different story than what most sellers are expecting to walk into. The gap between what sellers are expecting right now and what's actually happening in the market is wider than it's been in years. And it's costing some sellers thousands of dollars they didn't have to lose. Now stay with me to the end because I'm going to tell you the one thing separating the sellers who are coming out on top in this market from the ones who are ended up taking less than they should have. Here's what happened. From 2020 to 2022, sellers had it about as good as it gets. You had bidding wars, offers over asking, and homes selling in just a few days. In that experience, or watching it happen to neighbors and friends, it created an expectation that hasn't gone away, even though that hot selling market has. Homeowners who watch prices soar during those years, they still expect to get that same energy when they list. The problem is that market is gone. And walking into today's market with 2021 expectations is one of the most expensive mistakes a seller can make right now. Let's look at what's actually happening with prices. More homes are selling below asking price than we've seen in years, and it's not just a little below. In many metro areas across the country, the gap between what sellers are asking and what buyers are willing to pay has gotten significant. What does that mean in real terms? It means sellers are either sitting on the market longer than expected, reducing their price after the fact, or in some cases pulling their listing altogether. None of those are good outcomes, and most of them are avoidable if the home is priced correctly from day one. And it's not just prices. Days on market tells the same story. We are now 26 straight months of homes taking longer to sell on a year-over-year basis. 26 months. That's not a blip, that's a trend. Nationally, the typical home spent 52 days on the market in May of 2026. Now compare that to where we were just a few years ago, and the difference is significant. Buyers are taking their time. They're comparing. They're being patient in a way they simply didn't have the option to be when inventory was rock bottom. Here's another number worth paying attention to. In April, nearly 6% of all U.S. home listings were pulled off the market, tied for the highest share since March 2020 when the pandemic stopped everything cold. Now, before that number scares you, here's the important context. Sellers aren't giving up. They're regrouping. A lot of those homes are coming back on the market with better pricing, better photos, and better timing. But the fact that it's happening at all tells you everything you need to know about the gap between seller expectations and market reality right now. You remember I promised you the one thing separating sellers coming out on top from the ones leaving money on the table? Well, here it is. An overpriced home doesn't just sit, it gets stale. It loses leverage. Buyers start wondering what's wrong with it. And here's the kicker. A home that sits too long almost always ends up selling for less than it would had it been priced right from the start. The price reduction that comes after weeks on market signals desperation to buyers, and they respond with lower offers. The sellers who come out on top in this market are the ones who go in with accurate data, realistic expectations, and a pricing strategy built around where the market actually is, not where it was. So if you're thinking about selling, here's what I want you to take away from this. Get your pricing right before you list, not after. The cost of overpricing isn't just a slower sale. It's potentially thousands of dollars left on the table because your home went stale before you found your buyer. You need real, current, local data before you make that decision. Not what your neighbor got in 2022, not a Zillow estimate. You have to price at what homes like yours are actually selling for right now in your specific neighborhood. Now, if your home is in Cobb or Cherokee counties, that's exactly what I can walk you through on a free 30-minute Zoom call, a real comparative market analysis or market value report built around your home and your neighborhood using current MLS data. No pressure, no obligation, just an honest look at what the market is telling us so you can make the best decision possible. The link is below in the description. I'm Ken Mandich, and I'll see you next time.